is going on, Movie Maniacs? I'm Zach.
And I'm Matt.
And this is the previews, everybody's favorite part of the movie. So this week, Dr. Sleep.
Yep, the sequel that we never thought we would see, okay? Directed by Mike Flanagan. Now, let me get my readers out here, because we got a pretty extensive cast.
Yeah.
We got Ewan McGregor, of course, as a leading role, as Dan Torrance.
Dan Torrance.
We also have Rebecca Ferguson as Rose the Hat. She's the villain. And then we have Kylie Curran as Abra. What was her name?
Abra.
Abra Stone.
Yep.
And then Cliff Curtis as Billy Freeman.
Yeah. So just for you maniacs who do not know, so Dr. Sleep is the sequel to the beloved and might be my favorite horror movie of all time, the mid-70s.
Yeah.
Mid-70s, I don't know the exact date. The Shining, which I would say probably to this day has the best horror acting performance of all time from Jack Nicholson himself.
Jack Nicholson himself. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you anymore on that. And of course, directed so brilliantly by Stanley Kubrick, based off the novel from Stephen King. Okay, I'm going to start off my review, of course, with the question: Is this a necessary sequel? Yes or no?
100%.
Okay,
100%.
there we go.
This movie, I'd probably say run under Crawl. The Crawl, which was an alligator monster movie that was released this year, but this is right underneath that as the most surprising movie of 2019 for me. This movie blew me away.
Yeah.
It was, because when this trailer was released, I was very skeptical, not only because you're trying to just continue such a beloved story and just such a story that's just so recognized by so many people.
Yeah.
And trying to build upon that. You could say a lot of horror films, including myself, say one of my favorite movies of all time, Perfection. And trying to build upon that was very scary. And just another side note I want to add is that, because Stephen King hated Stanley Kubrick's version of this movie.
Yep.
And when I was seeing the trailer, it did a bunch of callbacks to the original, and I just thought that would get very sloppy. But just like I said, this movie was very surprising and very, very, very good.
Yeah, so I guess when it comes to this, right, you know, you hit it right on the head, where Stephen King hated the original Stanley Kubrick movie, right? That's why he went in I think it was 97 or 98, where he did the Shining TV series, which is terrible, right?
So bad.
So bad. However, when I heard this movie was announced, I wanted nothing to do with it. I love The Shining so much. For me, I don't necessarily find it that scary. However, it makes me feel so uncomfortable, and that's mostly towards Jack Nicholson's portrayal of Jack Torrance.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this movie, I would have never thought in a million years I'd be saying this. This is the sequel that The Shining deserves.
Yes.
Mike Flanagan, you guys might know him best if you watch the Netflix series, The Haunting of Hill House.
Yes.
He hit this on the head. Last year, my favorite movie scene of all time, or not of all time, of 2018, sorry.
Yeah.
Still 2019. 2018 was Ready Player One's Shining scene. This surpassed it. I wanted to stay in the Overlook Hotel.
Yes.
It was so brilliant. The whole build-up, getting there, and finally it happens. And it makes sense. I thought it was going to just be kind of, bullshit in and be like, oh, well, we have to go to the Overlook sometime.
Just living off that name of The Shining.
This did the perfect amount of callbacks to The Shining, and holy hell, I was blown away.
I mean, I know we're just hyping up this movie at the start of this review, but I guess just based on what you said, I guess I would say that's my slight negative, not major negative, but slight negative. There were times where they should have used the references and callbacks to the original, but there were other times I felt it just didn't add to the story. I feel like the parts that which really surprised me too the most, was when it was its own movie.
Yeah.
It was its own movie and its own thing. Yes, there were the callbacks, but I feel like it didn't need it. Literally, probably the only gripe I had, because I feel like they were just a few moments I felt just very out of place, that they were just there to make a callback to The Shining.
I couldn't disagree with you anymore on that one. So, because I felt that the callbacks to the original Shining were perfect. It wasn't like thrown in your face, shoved down your throat, which the trailers kind of perceived it to be. It was, hey, this is when the Shining callbacks are going to happen, and we're not going to get into spoilers, but there are definitely, I would say, two major, I guess, I don't want to say issues, but
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Things where they could have took it to this level, but they settled for this, which is still, again, amazing.
True.
Amazing, but, it didn't, and again, that's why I appreciate it. Like, Mike Flanagan, like, you could tell that he was inspired by Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and I loved how he called back to some of the shots and, the way things were moving throughout everything, just the way even the actors were portraying certain scenes that you saw in The Shining, they were giving the same mannerisms as the movie, and I'm just like, oh, this is so good, and the music, like,
the music, I cannot praise the music enough.
So let's get back on track real quick. Yeah. So Mike Flanagan as the director, this is really his first major motion picture. Mm-hmm. How do you think he delivered?
He delivered it. I couldn't imagine anybody delivering it better than him. Mm-hmm. But I mean, especially with the music, just because I don't know how many maniacs have watched this from the beginning, but a big thing for me, especially when you're trying to make horror movies these days, because horror movies back, in the 70s and 80s relied a lot about jump scares. That's old news these days. So I feel like what really makes a great horror movie is atmosphere and music. Yeah. And especially if you guys can make it out to a AMC Dolby Theater,
go check it out.
Because the seats vibrate and they add so many subtle noises that make the seats vibrate and just add so much to the scene that I feel like if you don't feel some of those vibrations, it doesn't add as much as I feel like it should.
What about Ewan McGregor as Dan Torrance?
I love the way, the direction that they gave the character.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think Ewan McGregor really knocked it out of the park with this role. I was very skeptical about him being Dan Torrance at the beginning when they announced this movie and they announced he was going to star in it. I was like, I don't know if I like that choice for him, because I mean, granted, I don't really know who could be Danny, mm-hmm. right? But he really killed it, and the thing that I liked was how they developed his character. He just was still at, what is he? Probably like 40, in the story. Just how shell-shocked he was for that whole experience at the hotel. He felt it, and you felt it at the same time. You're like, because you're rooting for him in the movie, right? In The Shining, and then you see him as an adult, and you're like, damn, he got messed up, and they don't sugarcoat it. Mm-hmm. They really don't sugarcoat all the trouble that he had growing up in life with this huge burden of the Overlook Hotel on his back.
But then I'm gonna also get to Rebecca Ferguson too. Like, mm-hmm. she's the other big note, who is the lead villain, yeah. Who was I forget her name, but she's been in the past two Mission Impossible movies. Yeah. But she was amazing.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. She's able to put on like that good-looking persona, but like be able to reel people in for that. And she's so good at being so menacing as well.
Yeah, and that's the classic, really, honestly, Stephen King villain, right? Yep. The person that looks great on the outside, and you're like, oh yeah, I trust her, but then she just sinks her teeth in you, and just takes you out to water, and there's really no return. What I loved about the movie was going back into the storytelling and being a completely different movie than what The Shining was, and how it expanded on it
so much.
Yeah.
It's like, just because they mention the ability of The Shining, and in the first movie you get a sense of it.
Yeah.
But this movie expanded upon it so much, and you really see the power of The Shining, and it's the best horror movies ever made, and just being able to expand on just that idea and doing it so well and adding this additional layer on top of it. It was great.
So Zach, overall, what are you thinking?
This movie just blew me away the way more than I thought it was going to. Like I said, just under Crawl, because I just went into Crawl and this movie as just pretty much just being just kind of crapshoots, and like especially when it came to this movie, just money grabs. And I feel like it was relying so much on the original Shining, which again, Stephen King said he hated, but just being as surprised that I was. I might be pushing it, but just the impact lasting. I think I'm gonna go 4.5 Magic Hats.
Dang,
I think I'm going to. I was between 4.5 and 4, but just the surprise that this movie brought to me, and just how invested I was from beginning to end, and not having these callbacks intrude on the movie too much. They said there's a few moments I thought it was a little much, but that's the only negative about the movie. But performances, directing, music, everything was so good. I'm pushing it to 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to disagree with anything you said. However, and when you see this movie, you'll know there are 2 things that could have made this movie perfect. They decided not to go there. And once you see it, I'm not going to get any spoilers. Once you see it, you're going to be like, oh, if they would have went there, it would have been the
as
perfect.
A true fan of The Shining.
Yeah, no, just as a true fan of cinema in general, because in Ready Player One, we were robbed of it. In this movie, sadly, we are robbed of it.
It might have made it to it might have made the 5.
In my opinion,
you're right.
It would have been. I had to dock it a full point because there's 2 things, a half point each, that they could have really got there. But I'm not going to spoil it. They didn't go there. However, the story was engaging. It made me feel just as uncomfortable, if not more uncomfortable, with the original Shining. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 spoons out of 5.
Got you.
But that's it for this week, Movie Maniacs. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Hit that bell icon so you get notified of every single movie. And then also, let us know what you thought about the film.
Check it out.
Yeah,
check it out. And then come back here and let us know your thoughts.
Exactly. And, go ahead, send us a message too, being like, hey, were you guys talking about this, what they should have changed? And we'll say yes or no. Just let us know, because we're not going to do a spoiler review of this one.
Yeah, just 2 notes. That's it.
Exactly. There's just 2, and you'll know what they are. It'll be really obvious. But next week, we will be reviewing
Ford and Ferrari.
Exactly.
Sorry, Ford versus Ferrari.
Exactly. We'll be watching that because we're from the Motor City. We got to represent the Ford family some way, somehow.
Exactly, and I'm just happy to see Christian Bale back. It's been a while since I've seen Christian Bale.
Exactly. I mean, he only does like 1 great movie every year.
But there was a period where he was doing like 3 or 4 good movies every year.
Exactly. But hey, you know what?
But like I said, we got to represent the Motor City, baby.
And you know what? He already made that Batman money. Now he's looking to do movies that he wants to do. So I can't wait to see that one. Him and Matt Damon. Really, really looking forward to it. So we'll see you next week for that.